Welcome to Numismatic Vault, the channel where coins aren't just spare change, they're hidden treasures waiting to be found. In today's video, we're diving deep into the world of rare and valuable Washington quarters. Some of these coins are worth far more than you'd ever imagine, and the best part, they could be sitting in your pocket or coin jar right now. So get ready, because by the end of this video, you might be looking at your change in a whole new way. Top 1, we're diving into the world of Washington quarters and focusing on a year that many people overlook but which hides some incredible treasures, the 1985 Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, it may look like just another piece of pocket change, a coin you might pass along in a store without a second thought. But in reality, there are rare examples of this coin that have stunned collectors and fetched jaw-dropping amounts at auctions. So let's take a closer look at why this 1985 quarter has captured the attention of the coin collecting community and what makes certain examples so valuable. The Washington quarter series began in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and the design became a lasting icon on American coinage. By 1985, the quarter was a common sight in every American's daily life. But while billions were produced between the Philadelphia and Denver mints, not all were created equal. In fact, hidden within that massive production run are some very rare coins with errors and special qualities that make them worth far more than their face value. Let's talk about what to look for. The first category that drives value is mint errors. Sometimes, during production, mistakes happen, planchets are misaligned, dies are doubled, or pressure isn't applied correctly. These errors create coins that stand apart from the billions of regular issues. Collectors love them because they are unique and often very visually striking. For example, a double die obverse can be found on some 1985 quarters. This error means that design elements, like Washington's profile, the lettering, or the motto, "In God We Trust," may appear slightly doubled. It's not always easy to spot, but for those who know what to look for, it can mean holding a small fortune in your hand. Another fascinating error to watch out for is the off-center strike. If a blank planchet is not seated correctly during minting, the design may be struck off-center, leaving part of the coin blank and the rest distorted. The more dramatic the misalignment, the higher the value tends to climb. Collectors especially prize off-center strikes where the date is still visible, making them identifiable and highly collectible. Clipped planchets are also a rare but exciting find. These errors occur when the metal strip used for striking coins overlaps during the blanking process, producing coins that have a curved or crescent-shaped clip along the rim. Not only are these coins unusual, but each one is unique, adding to their collectible charm. Die cracks and cuds are yet another type of error that appear on some 1985 quarters. Over time, the dies that strike the coins can wear down or crack, leaving raised lines or blobs of extra metal on the coin's surface. Far from being defects to avoid, these anomalies are treasured by collectors as markers of rarity. Now let's not forget condition. The vast majority of 1985 quarters have been circulating for decades, passed hand to hand in daily transactions. They show scratches, wear, and loss of luster. However, a very small number were set aside in mint state condition, untouched by circulation. High-grade examples, especially those graded MS-67 or above, are incredibly scarce. The difference in value between a well-worn 1985 quarter and a pristine, high-grade one is astonishing, and then we have proof coins. While circulation strikes were made in Philadelphia and Denver, the San Francisco Mint produced proof versions intended for collectors. These coins have mirror-like fields, frosted devices, and sharp details. A 1985 proof quarter in pristine condition, particularly with cameo or deep cameo contrast, can fetch a strong premium. What makes the 1985 quarter so appealing is that it represents a blend of history, artistry, and the thrill of the hunt. The design itself, with Washington's strong profile on the obverse and the majestic eagle on the reverse, reflects stability and tradition. But hidden within this familiar design are coins that defy expectations, coins with rare errors, unusual characteristics, and extraordinary preservation that make them far more valuable than anyone might imagine. So, how much can one of these rare 1985 Washington quarters be worth? While most will only ever be worth their face value of 25 cents, certain rare varieties in exceptional condition have stunned the collecting world. Some of these rare quarters have sold for an incredible $82,000, yes, you heard that correctly, $82,000 for a single quarter from 1985. That's why collectors keep searching, studying, and holding on to their coins, because you never know when an ordinary piece of pocket change might turn out to be a hidden treasure. Top 2. We are focusing on a coin that you may have seen countless times without giving it a second thought, the Washington quarter dollar from the year 1993. At first glance, it seems like just another quarter, something you'd use in a vending machine or drop into a parking meter. But hidden among these ordinary coins are some very rare treasures that have taken the coin collecting world by storm. And as always, it's those small details, the errors, the minting quirks, and the condition, that can make all the difference between a coin worth 25 cents and a coin worth a small fortune. Let's step back for a moment and talk about the history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, created to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design by sculptor John Flanagan became instantly iconic, with Washington's profile on the obverse and the proud eagle displayed on the reverse. Over the decades, the quarter became the workhorse of American currency, widely used and mass-produced. By 1993, billions of quarters had already been struck. Yet, despite the massive mintages, certain coins from this year have unique features that make them highly collectible. One of the most fascinating aspects of coin collecting is the hunt for mint errors, and the 1993 Washington quarter does not disappoint. Some of the rarest pieces from this year feature doubled die errors. A doubled die occurs when the coin die itself carries a slightly doubled image, so when the coin is struck, the details appear duplicated. On the 1993 quarter, doubling can be seen in the inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," and sometimes even on Washington's eye or profile. Spotting such a detail is thrilling because these errors are highly sought after and can dramatically increase the value of the coin. Another rarity that excites collectors is the off-center strike. Imagine a coin where part of the design is missing because the blank planchet wasn't perfectly aligned during the strike. These coins are instantly recognizable and each one is unique. A dramatic off-center strike where the date remains visible is considered particularly desirable, and these types of errors have been known to attract strong attention at auctions. Then there are clipped planchets, another error that can make a 1993 quarter stand out. A clipped planchet means part of the coin's edge is missing due to a mistake during the blank cutting process. These errors create crescent-shaped blanks that produce coins unlike anything else in circulation. And while they might look like damaged coins to the untrained, collectors know that these are mint-made errors that carry real value. Die cracks and cuts are also part of the story. As coin dies wear down with use, they sometimes develop cracks. These cracks transfer to the coins as raised lines or blobs of extra metal. Far from being imperfections to avoid, these errors actually make the coins even more collectible. For the 1993 quarter, coins with dramatic die cracks across Washington's portrait or the reverse eagle are cherished by error enthusiasts. Of course, condition is king in the world of coin collecting. Most 1993 quarters have circulated for years, showing scratches, wear, and dulling. But coins that remain in mint state condition, especially those graded MS-67 or higher, are extremely scarce. Even the smallest improvement in grade can mean a huge jump in value. For example, a 1993 quarter graded MS-65 might be worth several dollars, but in MS-67 or MS-68, the same coin could fetch hundreds or even thousands, depending on demand. We can't forget proof coins either. In 1993, the San Francisco Mint produced proof versions of the Washington quarter for collectors. These coins were struck with specially prepared dies on polished planchets, resulting in sharp, mirror-like surfaces and frosted details. A flawless deep cameo proof from 1993 can command an impressive premium in today's market. So why does the 1993 quarter continue to attract collectors? It's because it represents both history and mystery. It's a coin that everyone has seen, yet few realize its hidden potential. For the casual coin lover, it's a reminder to always look closely at your change. For the dedicated collector, it's an opportunity to add something rare, unusual, and historically significant to their collection. Now, let's get to the exciting part, the value. While the majority of 1993 Washington quarters will forever remain worth their face value of 25 cents, some rare examples with dramatic errors, exceptional grades, or proof-like qualities have stunned the collecting world. In fact, one rare 1993 Washington quarter has been valued at an extraordinary $80,000, yes, you heard that right, $80,000 for a single quarter from 1993. That's why collectors are always on the hunt, always examining their coins carefully, and always hopeful that the next coin they flip over will reveal something truly extraordinary. Top 3. We are taking a closer look at the Washington quarter dollar from 1994. This may seem like just another quarter you've seen 100 times in your change jar, but let me tell you, there are rare examples of this coin that have stunned collectors and proven to be worth far more than anyone could imagine. So stick with me until the very end, because you'll want to hear just how much this coin can actually be worth. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932, when it was first introduced to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by John Flanagan, the obverse features Washington's bold profile while the reverse originally displayed a detailed eagle with outstretched wings. For decades, this design remained unchanged and became one of the most recognizable coins in U.S. history. By 1994, millions of these quarters were circulating across the country, yet within those countless coins lie hidden rarities that make collectors' hearts race. So, what makes the 1994 quarter stand out? The answer lies in a combination of condition, rarity, and minting errors. While billions of quarters were struck that year, only a small fraction have survived in pristine condition. Collectors know that the grade of a coin, the measure of its preservation, can make an enormous difference in its value. A heavily circulated 1994 quarter might be worth only its face value, but one in mint state condition, graded MS-67 or higher, can command impressive prices. These high-grade coins are scarce because very few survived without scratches, nicks, or loss of luster. Now let's talk about the errors. Minting errors are like hidden treasures, and some of the most fascinating examples can be found in the 1994 quarter series. One such error is the doubled die. When the coin die receives a doubled impression during the hubbing process, the resulting coins display doubled letters, numbers, or design details. On the 1994 quarter, doubling can sometimes be spotted in the motto, "In God We Trust," or the word, "Liberty." If you look closely at these features with a magnifying glass, you might just uncover a coin that is worth far more than ordinary pocket change. Another error that excites collectors is the off-center strike. Imagine finding a 1994 quarter where the design is visibly shifted, with part of Washington's portrait missing and blank space on the other side. These coins are instantly noticeable and highly collectible, especially when the date is still visible. The more dramatic the misalignment, the greater the value. Clipped planchets also occur in this year. These errors happen when the blank metal discs, called planchets, are improperly cut before being struck. The result is a coin with a distinctive crescent-shaped clip along the edge. To someone unfamiliar with coins, it may look like damage, but seasoned collectors know that this is a rare mint-made mistake that significantly increases a coin's value. Die cracks and cuts also play a role in making 1994 quarters special. As coin dies wear down over time, cracks can form and transfer to the coins, creating raised lines or blobs of extra metal. While minor die cracks may not add much value, dramatic examples, especially those across Washington's profile or through the lettering, can be highly collectible, and we cannot forget proof coins. The San Francisco Mint produced proof versions of the Washington quarter in 1994, intended specifically for collectors. These coins were struck using polished dies on specially prepared planchets, resulting in sharp, mirror-like fields and frosted details. A flawless proof with deep cameo contrast is a beauty to behold and can fetch strong prices at auctions. So, why does the 1994 Washington quarter continue to draw interest from collectors? Because it represents a fascinating blend of history, everyday familiarity, and hidden rarity. Most people pass these coins without a thought, but collectors know that inside a jar of loose change might be a coin with extraordinary value. The hunt, the discovery, and the possibility of finding that rare gem make this hobby so addictive and exciting. Now comes the part you've been waiting for, the value. While most 1994 Washington quarters are destined to remain at 25 cents, there are rare examples with dramatic errors, exceptional grades, or proof-like qualities that stand out. And one such coin has shocked the collecting world with its value, selling for an astonishing $77,000. That's right, a single 1994 quarter can be worth $77,000. So next time you come across one, take a moment to examine it carefully. You never know when a simple coin could turn out to be a hidden treasure. Top 4. We are heading to the far north, to the land of glaciers, wildlife, and rugged wilderness. Yes, we are talking about the Alaska State Quarter from 2008, a coin that might look like a simple 25-cent piece to many, but for collectors and coin lovers, it holds stories of rarity, beauty, and in certain cases, incredible value. The Alaska Quarter was released in 2008 as part of the wildly popular 50-state quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008. Each state had the chance to showcase its unique history, culture, or natural wonders on the back of the nation's most common coin. For Alaska, the choice was bold and powerful, a grizzly bear emerging from the water with a salmon in its jaws, symbolizing both strength and the rich wildlife that defines the state. Above the design, the words, "The Great Land," appear, a phrase that perfectly captures Alaska's vast wilderness and natural beauty. The obverse, of course, carries the classic portrait of George Washington, a constant across all state quarters. But it's the reverse design that really makes the Alaska coin stand out. With its dynamic image of the grizzly, it quickly became one of the most visually striking coins in the entire series. For collectors, design appeal matters, and this quarter has no shortage of it. Now let's dive into what makes certain Alaska quarters rare and worth far more than their face value. Like all state quarters, millions were minted, both in Philadelphia and Denver, and most of those went straight into circulation. These are common and usually worth no more than a quarter, especially if they show heavy wear. However, uncirculated examples, coins that were preserved in pristine condition from the very beginning, are a different story. When graded by professional services at very high levels like MS-67 or MS-68, they command premium prices because so few exist in such flawless states. Beyond condition, error coins are where things get especially exciting. During the minting process, mistakes sometimes happen, and these errors create coins that collectors chase after with passion. The Alaska quarter is no exception. Some examples show double die errors, where letters or parts of the design appear doubled. Others display off-center strikes, where the image is misaligned on the blank, creating an eye-catching error. There are even coins struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine an Alaska quarter struck on a dime or nickel blank. These rare misstrikes make each coin unique and highly collectible. Another interesting variety that collectors talk about involves die cracks and cuts, which are raised lines or lumps of metal caused by a damaged die. These may look small, but in the world of error collecting, they add charm and rarity, often leading to higher values at auction. Proof versions of the Alaska quarter, especially silver proof struck at the San Francisco Mint, are also highly sought after. These were never intended for circulation but made for collectors with polished dies and planchets, giving them sharp detail and mirror-like fields. A silver proof in perfect condition can fetch strong interest, and when combined with the popularity of Alaska's design, it becomes even more desirable. It's also worth noting that the Alaska quarter holds a special place in the timeline of U.S. coinage. Being one of the final issues in the state quarters program, it came at a time when the excitement for collecting was at its peak. Millions of Americans had started coin collections because of this series, and Alaska's bold design made it a standout piece to complete the set. This timing adds to its significance and collectability today. For coin lovers, the Alaska quarter is more than just metal and design. It represents adventure, wilderness, and the enduring spirit of a land known for its breathtaking landscapes and untamed wildlife. Owning one is like holding a piece of the great land in your hand, a reminder of how coins can tell stories far beyond their face value. So, what should you do if you come across a 2008 Alaska quarter? First, check its condition. If it has never been spent and still shines with original mint luster, you may have something special. Next, look closely for any doubling, cracks, or off-center features that might point to a mint error. And if you happen to find a silver proof in immaculate shape, hold on to it, because that coin will always attract collectors. Now here's the part you've been waiting for. While most Alaska quarters are worth only 25 cents, certain rare examples in the highest grades and with dramatic mint errors have sold for truly astonishing prices. Believe it or not, one of these coins has reached a value of $73,000, yes, $73,000 for a single quarter that many people would casually spend on a cup of coffee. That is the incredible power of rarity, condition, and history in the world of coin collecting. Top 5. We are going to talk about a coin that most people have seen or even used in their daily lives without ever realizing its potential value. That coin is the Washington quarter dollar from the year 1998. At first glance, it looks like just another quarter, the kind you might hand over at a store, put in a vending machine, or leave forgotten in a jar at home. But here's the truth, some examples of the 1998 Washington quarter are not just ordinary coins. In fact, they can be extremely valuable, and a lucky collector could find themselves holding on to something worth an astonishing amount of money. So listen carefully, coin lovers, because this is one video you won't want to miss. The Washington quarter has been a trusted part of American currency since 1932. Designed by John Flanagan, its obverse proudly displays the portrait of George Washington, while the reverse still shows the familiar heraldic eagle before the introduction of the state quarter program in 1999. That means 1998 was one of the very last years that the classic eagle reverse was struck for circulation, making it a significant year for collectors. It marks the end of an era and the beginning of a whole new chapter in the history of American coinage. Now, what makes the 1998 quarter truly interesting is not just its place in history, but the wide range of mint errors and conditions that can turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary treasure. For starters, condition is everything in coin collecting. Most quarters from 1998 went straight into circulation, gathering scratches, wear, and discoloration over the years. But a small number survived in pristine mint state. These coins, especially those graded MS-67 or higher by professional grading companies, can command high premiums because of their beauty, sharp details, and rarity. Beyond condition, let's talk about errors, because errors are where the real excitement lies. One of the most sought-after errors for the 1998 quarter is the doubled die. This happens when the coin die shifts slightly during the minting process, causing certain details, like the letters in Liberty or the motto, In God We Trust, to appear doubled. A strong double die on a 1998 quarter can make it highly collectible and very valuable. Another fascinating error to look out for is the off-center strike. With this error, the design is not aligned properly on the blank coin, leaving a portion of the surface blank. The more dramatic the misalignment, the rarer and more desirable the coin becomes, especially if the date is still visible. These off-center strikes are true conversation pieces in any collection. Clipped planchets are another type of error seen in 1998 quarters. This occurs when the blank piece of metal that becomes the coin is improperly cut, leaving a crescent-shaped gap in the final product. These quirky mistakes are fascinating for collectors because they represent a glimpse into the minting process and highlight how even modern technology can sometimes produce unusual results. Then there are die cracks and cuts, raised lines or blobs of extra metal caused by damage to the coin die itself. Some 1998 quarters show bold cracks across Washington's portrait or cuts on the edges of the coin, and while small cracks may be common, dramatic examples can significantly increase a coin's value. We also can't forget about the proof coins made at the San Francisco Mint. These coins were not intended for circulation but were specially made for collectors, with mirror-like fields and frosted details. A flawless proof quarter from 1998 with deep cameo contrast can be a true showpiece and bring strong bids at auction. What makes the 1998 Washington quarter so thrilling is that it straddles both history and rarity. It's one of the last years of the classic eagle reverse before the change to the state quarter series, which means collectors see it as both a final chapter and a hidden opportunity. And because so many people overlook quarters from the 1990s, rare examples often go unnoticed in pocket change or coin rolls. That means you could still stumble across one of these treasures today without even realizing it. Now let's talk about the most exciting part, the value. While most 1998 quarters will only ever be worth face value, the rare ones in pristine condition or with dramatic mint errors have shocked collectors with their prices. Believe it or not, One of these coins has sold for an incredible $73,000, yes, $73,000 for a single Washington quarter from 1998. That's why it's so important to keep your eyes open, check your change, and pay attention to the details. What might look like just an ordinary coin could in fact be a life-changing discovery. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration of the 1998 Washington quarter. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more stories of rare and valuable coins. Until next time, happy collecting, and may your next find be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered.